What up, DC Geeks? For today, we're going to hop in the Wayback Machine and have a look at the DC Direct Classic Heroes Blue Beetle. Includes crime fighting accessories. This is one of the classic ones that I saw hanging on the pegs way back in the day and just never picked it up, and I found it for cheap. Likely because if we turn it around here, you wouldn't notice from the front. You'd think that that light blue around the edges is probably supposed to be there, but if we turn this around and see the back, you can see that there's substantial water damage to the back of this card. It's lighter blue right here, and that's not part of the actual design motif. It sat in someone's basement, likely from 2002, and got musty, so it's about time we pull this guy off the card. But before I do that, I want to have a quick look and show you some of the other figures that were out at the time. The Question, Uncle Sam, Phantom Lady, I have the Uncle Sam. The Green Arrow Speedy 2-pack, I really want to get that. Then you've got some Green Lantern characters, Tomare, Fatality, John Stewart, and Green Lantern Kyle Rayner. I have that Kyle Rayner. Shazam, Black Adam, The Shade, and Vandal Savage. I have Shade and Vandal Savage as well. Mon-El and Brainiac 5. I had the Mon-El, and I don't think I had the Brainiac, because I had the DC Universe Classics version. Alright, so now we've seen the front of the package, and we've seen the back of the package, so let's open up and get to the inside of the package. Ripping like a savage, gonna rip it open. And here's what we got. Yep, even back then they were tormenting us with twist ties. Stupid, rotten, friggin' present. Well, crap. Right out of the package, his arm broke off. And I was being careful, I swear. It's that classic DC Direct quality control right there. Oh, jeez. See, look. The elbow joint peg was just snapped in half in the package already. Alright, well, whatever. It'll last for the video and it'll look good on a shelf, I suppose. Now in the package, you get this here suction cuppy thing that he can swing off of like a trapeze rope. Whee! You get this here hairdryer and the Blue Beetle figure. Now, aside from the fact that I had a limb break off of mine pretty much right away, this is still a really nice looking figure. I mean, they did hit that color scheme bang on, as far as I'm concerned. It's probably going to show up a little bit lighter in this video, but in person, it looks really, really good. So I just want to take some time now to examine some of the details of old Teddy Core Blue Beetle here, and first thing I want to do is draw your attention to the face. You'll notice that this face sculpt looks really, really nice. Like a lot like Ted Core Blue Beetle. I'm really, really impressed with it. I like it a lot better than DC Universe Classics one. I'll do a side-by-side comparison a bit later, but look at the eyes. DC Direct, one of the things that they excelled at with a lot of their figures in the early waves was painting the eyes and the facial features and the skin tone really, really nice. And this looks a lot better than the DC Universe Classics version of the Blue Beetle, at least in the head sculpt department. You'll notice as well that all of the details in the body are all sculpted on, so the black lines around the Beetle are all sculpted in, and the body proportions actually look fairly realistic. They look really good. You got the pouch there to put his hairdryer gun in, you got the scarab on the belt, you got the glossy blue for the gloves, and also for the boots, compared to the matte of the outside undies and the blue on his costume. I really think they did an excellent job designing these figures, and as far as I'm concerned, this Ted Core Blue Beetle is one of the standout figures out of all of the early DC Direct action figures. And while I do think that the broken elbow hinge is a drawback for this figure, it's not completely uncommon for early DC Direct stuff to have that kind of a quality control issue. Articulation for Teddy Core Blue Beetle is going to be as follows. It's going to follow the early DC Direct / most action figures kind of articulation here, that the head is not on a ball joint, it's just on a peg. It goes around 360 degrees. Shoulders go around 360, but they're also not on a ball joint. It might look like it from here, but they're not. Elbows are single jointed. Well, literally just single jointed because that one's broken. No waist articulation, no ab crunch, but the legs do go forward all the way, that's quite a lot of articulation forward. The knees are on that single hinge, no ankle articulation, no wrist articulation. So literally, it's got the neck, the shoulders, the groin, and the knees, which is typical of most action figures back in the day. Not a lot of posability, but just enough for a guy like me that's going to put it on a shelf. Here for your viewing enjoyment, I have the Blue Beetle posed next to some other early DC Direct figures as well, and you can see right away that the Blue Beetle is suffering from that age-old problem that DC Direct seemed to be plagued with, and that was not being able to make up their mind as far as size and scale goes. He's dwarfed, positively dwarfed by Superman and Bizarro, and even the other figures that we see on the back of the card are also too big. too large in scale comparison to this Blue Beetle figure. Heck, just look at Vandal Savage standing there next to that cheeky-looking Ted Cord. They just don't look good together. Over the years, DC seems to have fixed this problem. However, if you bought the early figures hoping to display them with other DC Direct figures, you were sorely let down. Now, the only other qualm I would have with this Blue Beetle figure, aside from the fact that the scale makes it so you can only really pose him with DC Universe Classics and the busted elbow right out of the package, is the fact that this little magical hairdryer gun here that should be going in the magical holster doesn't fit because this doesn't open. At least with the DC Universe Classics, this opened and you could stick Ted Cord's gun right down in here, and you can't with this one. So when you take it out of his hand to install the magical rope, whoa, you better hope you don't lose the gun, because it's little. And this is the kind of thing that can go bye-bye very quickly. Now also, just because I said so, here is that size and scale comparison with the other Blue Beetle figure from the DC Universe Classics. Right away, you'll notice that the DC Universe Classics Blue Beetle is actually bigger in every way in comparison to the DC Direct version. He is, back to back, taller, and also girthier. Either way, I'm more impressed with the DC Direct version of Blue Beetle in comparison to the DC Universe Classics version, and I do believe that the DC Direct version is the superior of the DCUC in every way. Maybe it's the fact that this Blue Beetle has his own individual sculpt and doesn't have to share a basic buck with other figures. Or maybe it's the detail and the color choice that make this figure stand out so much. I gotta say though, I am still very, very impressed with it. Anyhow, that's the end of my old school DC Direct Blue Beetle action figure, so hopefully you enjoyed it. If you found this video enjoyable, helpful, or even just entertaining in any way, shape, or form, be sure to leave a like on it so I know you liked it. Leave any comments you have down in the comment section below. And if this is your first time here and you think you might want to see more of my content show up in your inbox, well, just hit the subscribe button and remember to ding the bell and you'll never miss a video. And I'll see you with the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.